Hello, SVUE students. It is the week of January 18th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now it's time for the Avid Spartan Pledge. I am an avid Spartan, always prepared for the day. Very respectful to all that come my way, intentionally safe and determined to exceed. I am an avid Spartan, and today I will succeed. Avid Job Highlight. This week's Avid Job Highlight is an earful. It is an audiologist. These are hearing specialists. This is a specialist that works with people who have problems with hearing, balance, or other ear-related issues. They identify, assess, and treat hearing problems and balance disorders, as well as document treatment and discuss symptoms with their patients. Sometimes audiologists also need to know how hearing loss and balance issues affect their patients mentally and emotionally, so that they can refer them to the appropriate resources. Lastly, audiologists need to know what tools to order to help their patients, because much of their work deals with the need for hearing aids. To be an audiologist, you need a doctoral degree in audiology, as well as great communication skills, a good bedside manner, which means politeness to your patients, and critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Classes you are taking now that might help you are science, mainly biology, and language arts. Colleges in the area that can help you pursue your career include Illinois State University, Northern Illinois University, Northwestern University, and University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. I heard a good joke, I can tell you. A man walks into an audiologist's office. When asked why he's there, he said he had no idea. He said his wife dropped him off and told him to get a hairy vest. Get it? Teacher Spotlight! Today we are going to learn a little bit about Mrs. Frazier. Take it away, Mrs. Dunsing.
Okay, welcome to the Teacher Spotlight, and today our teacher in the spotlight is Mrs. Frazier. So welcome, Mrs. Frazier, for coming to the Teacher Spotlight for us. We'll start with where you went to school.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I went to college at Eastern Illinois University for my bachelor's degree in teaching. And then I went on to get my master's degree from Olivet Nazarene University.
Okay, how long did it take you to get your master's degree?
It took me about 2.5 years to get my master's degree.
Okay, and how long did it take for you at Eastern Illinois to go through that to become a teacher?
It took me 4.5 years.
That is definitely doable for anybody who's interested in becoming a teacher.
Absolutely.
You told me that your pastime was running your kids around to different places for different sports. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those kids and about what you do?
So I have 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old girl, Peyton, an 11-year-old, Weston, and a 17-year-old in high school. And they are busy. So when you asked if I had extra time or what I did in my extra time, I don't have any. That's all I do is run them to practices and to after school activities.
So when you're not running them and you do have extra time, is there anything that you like to do?
I do. If I have extra time, or usually before bed, I do like to read, and I love to go on walks. It's even better if my family can come with me, but they don't very often.
I know how that is. My dog likes to go for walks, though. So tell me, what is your favorite food? What do you like to eat more than anything else?
My favorite, well, junk food, obviously, but if I had to pick a meal, I love pasta, about any kind of pasta, and I love cheese. Most cheese. I love it. String cheese, shredded cheese. I love it.
Yes, but how do you feel about provolone cheese?
Love provolone cheese too.
That's one of my favorite cheeses.
Food is always better with cheese.
Definitely. You can never have too much either. So you told me a little bit about your favorite subjects and what you actually teach here at Southview. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. My favorite subject in school was math. I always found it was the easiest for me. I actually went on to college and I have a minor in mathematics, which was really hard. But my favorite subject to actually teach is reading. And I don't even teach math now. I'm a reading and social studies teacher.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I had the hardest time in math, but I love to teach it. So I get exactly what you're saying there. Now we're going to go on to your favorite quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And that's a quote that comes from Dr. Seuss and from the book From the Lorax. Can you tell me before we end here exactly why that means so much to you?
Sure, I love that. I love a lot of Dr. Seuss quotes, but this one is my favorite. Anything that you do isn't going to be better unless you care about it, right? Your grades, what's going on in the world now, it's not going to get better unless you care, unless you work on it yourself.
That's exactly right. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you came and did and took some time out of your day to do the teacher spotlight. And we appreciate this. And if I didn't mention it before, Miss Fraser teaches 5th grade at SVUE. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow, cheese is one of my favorite foods too. Thank you so much, Mrs. Fraser, for being on our show. And thank you, Mrs. Dunsing, for yet another exceptional interview. Time for the special day of the week. The concept of Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a holiday was promoted by labor unions. After King's death, U.S. Representative John Conyers and U.S. Senator Edward Brooke introduced a bill to Congress to make King's birthday a national holiday. The bill first came to a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives in 1979. However, it fell 5 votes short of the number needed for passage. 2 of the main arguments mentioned by opponents were that a paid holiday for federal employees would be too expensive, and that a holiday to honor a private citizen would be contrary to the long-standing tradition, as King never held public office. At the time, only 2 other figures had national holidays honoring them, George Washington and Christopher Columbus. Soon after, the King Center looked for support from the corporate community and the general public. The success of the strategy was cemented when musician Stevie Wonder released a single, Happy Birthday, to popularize the campaign in 1980 and hosted the Rally for Peace Press Conference in 1981. 6 million signatures were collected for a petition for Congress to pass the law, and it is considered to be the largest petition in favor of any issue in the United States history. President Reagan originally opposed the holiday, citing cost concerns, but on November 2nd, 1983, Reagan signed a bill proposed by Representative Katie Hall to create a federal holiday honoring King. The bill had passed the Senate by a count of 78 to 22 and the House of Representatives by 338 to 90. The holiday was observed for the first time on January 20th, 1986. It's observed on the 3rd Monday of January rather than directly on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday because it follows the guidelines of the Uniform Monday Holiday Act. Even in death, Martin Luther King Jr. brought people together. I really hope to see his dream come to pass in our future. Speaking of dreams, time for the joke of the week. Did you hear about the ice cream man that fell asleep in the freezer? He woke up surrounded by dreamsicles. Question for you. Martin Luther King Jr. was the youngest person to be awarded which prize? Answer in the comments down below. I'm going to leave you with one last word. Effusive. Effusive is an adjective that means marked by an expression of great or excessive emotion or enthusiasm. My students sure had an effusive response when I told them there was no school on Monday. Maybe you did as well. I'm Mr. Hubbard, and I'll see you next week.